Hello everyone, welcome back to Blackjack. I'm Blackjack Gabbiani, and today we're doing it. We're finally doing it. Simone the Digger versus Kyle Rayner. And I am going to bring up how in the animated series, Kyle Rayner got his lantern ring when coming out of a bathroom stall. It was gross because he didn't get to wash his hands. Anyway, okay. Okay, I just started it. There's like a sound effect at the beginning and that's all I heard. There we go. Fight!
Simone the Digger.
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
Yeah!
And I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Awesome. Been looking forward to this.
Underground, Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's
Yikes.
where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight.
Yeah, I saw
at last.
the trailer.
Kamina, the great and mighty. Oh, and his little brother from another mother, Simone. He was there too.
Cool, but not
Simone
as cool.
was a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt.
Oh, inspired by
until the
Captain
day he
Harlock.
found
Interesting.
The core drill.
A key that activated the
Is a
mysterious
mangaka in another
berry
universe.
that Kamina named Lagan.
I'm
Under
assuming
his
that's
magnificently
mole steaks
masculine
and not
leadership,
mole.
Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom.
Mole would make
seeing the
sense,
sun after
right?
a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface
Exactly.
was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity.
Awesome.
Scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagan merged, creating Gurren Lagan.
With
Awesome.
Kamina piloting the body and Simone the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagann might just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's willpower and capable of making any weapon they can imagine.
Including missiles,
Sunglasses
a
boomerang.
sunglasses boomerang,
Sweet.
and of course,
Drills! Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the
Yep.
Giga Drill Buranku!
Neat.
It is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality.
I mean,
with Gurren Lagan's awesome
we're gonna
power,
get rid of
Kamina
that.
laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Until Kamina
Alright.
died. Oh,
yeah, I was aware of
was
this
that
too.
supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simone's fault.
Oh
He
my.
let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all,
dear.
he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
They never
So
dug.
his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time. It was Simone who found Lagan, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory.
Awesome.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory
Sweet.
only lasted 7 years before the anti-spiral attack.
Well, of course, you
Unimaginably
gotta
powerful
have
like
something.
aliens, the anti-spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the spiral nemesis.
Remember
I
how
see.
Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power. An energy
course it
that all
does, of
spiral
course.
beings like humans have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned
Chutzpah,
inward
come on, you
represents
gotta
endless
put your throat
obsession
into it.
and madness, the spiral
Okay,
turned
hello,
outward
random.
spins forever into
I mean, it is
infinity,
spiral.
the perfect representation of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential
Awesome.
Simone would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight
So,
to the anti-spiral.
wouldn't it be
And
better
this is
to
when Gurren
have
Lagann
them on
gets
your side?
crazy.
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simone can
Cool,
create
cool.
portals to different realities.
Okay, now
and
I'm going to
higher dimensions.
pause. Okay, exponential adaptation, self-repair, force fields, energy absorption, and reality warping. Of course, you gotta have reality warping. Arc Gurren Lagann, city-sized, yeah. Thunderbolt chariot kick, space-time shattering, spinning burst spinning punch. Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, moon-sized, full drill eyes, spatiotemporal axis simultaneous shooting. I'm going to pretend I know what that is. Yeah, okay, sure. I fully
He can
understand.
generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Incomprehensibly big. Okay. Contains super spiral space. Probability missiles. I initially read that as probably missiles. It's because it's one of those unclear animations. But probability missiles. Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. Mech size is greater than the observable universe. Infinite spiral power. Drill size multiple times greater than the observable universe. That's how I'm reading the 3 greater signs. Okay.
Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's
Okay,
the smallest
all
unit
right.
of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6
Infinitesimal.
times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light.
Holy schlamoli!
Oh, well, looks like this wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations,
More than
Gurren
SpongeBob?
Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it
Okay.
wasn't enough to
All
escape
right.
the Anti-Spiral's greatest trap, the Multiverse Labyrinth. An attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that control
Okay,
his
then.
mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simon and his spiral power are just built different.
Yeah.
And after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that
Okay, in the drama CD, Otoko no Joken Gurren Lagann, an alternate Lord Genome, seemingly manipulated 20-dimensional space, but this is a translation error and more than likely refers to manipulating a 2-fold dimension. Those seem like those would be very different
this
words.
labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning Simon absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than himself.
But not the
jump
person
between
on the ground
dimensions
there?
is basically infinite.
Oh, I
Each
realized.
new dimension adds a new direction of space that extends infinitely, thus an infinite gap
slightly-
in size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're just
There.
getting started. Imagine a 2-dimensional drawing interacting with a 3-dimensional person.
Okay. That's not too far off from what actually happened.
Because when Simon absorbed the multiverse labyrinth, he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including
Gotcha.
an alternate universe Simon, who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
A person
Wait, if
came out of the
every human being
manuscript.
has spiral power,
If I
you're
did that, I'd
telling
be
me we
so
can all
fucked.
do this shit?
This all gave our Simone enough spiral power to form the next step in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This
I'm gonna
is when Gurren
plug in.
Lagann gets actually fucking crazy. Like shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or
Awesome.
tossing galaxies around like frisbees.
Okay, Gurren Lagann makes multiple references to brain theory and higher dimensional concepts that are consistent with author statements asserting these galaxies are in fact universes. Hang on. I am going to look that up. Brain theory. In string theory and related theories such as supergravity, a brain is a physical object that generalizes the notion of a zero-dimensional point particle, a one-dimensional string, or a two-dimensional membrane to higher dimensional objects. Okay, you had me at zero-dimensional point particle, but then it kind of lost me. Everything just kind of... I actually did understand that. I'm not kidding. There. Make that a little bit bigger. Because I realized with the Board of Wisdom, it was partially being cut off. Okay, we're just going to have to deal with that. No, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There. Now we don't have that one white pixel in the corner. Okay.
Sorry, did I say galaxies? I meant universes.
Simone's power was so immense.
Okay, let me see what that said again.
I meant universes.
I see. In other words, this galaxy is a universe that can fly, bounce, and be thrown. So if you think of it as a universe that can fly, bounce, and be thrown, it's fine.
Simone's power was so immense that he started generating super spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simone turns his
Okay. Despite their higher dimensional nature, an interview confirms these constructs, including Tengen, Toppa, Gurren Lagann, could manifest in the three-dimensional real world. All right.
Reality, letting him create
I'll
his
take
mech
their word
and
for
all
it.
of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech just by willing it back into existence.
Awesome.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia
Simone has stated in interviews and directly shown to be the strongest spiral power user. As such, he's capable of the same feats and abilities as his crew.
the best wife in the universe, used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level.
Wow.
For 7 days straight.
Information in physics
Dang.
is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I had spiral power, whiz, when the
Doesn't she
fuck
still
is
die in
my
the end,
leg
though?
growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simone evolved one more time.
Into Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that,
If you ever
Simone
watch
and his
Meta
friends
Ball
shattered the
Studios,
anti-spiral
that's
once
meta,
and for
not
all.
metal.
Cruel indifference of the universe.
although-
Meet the indomitable human spirit.
Proving
Mecha
countless words
comparison
to effect
videos.
that Simone's drill
Okay, became the Simone that believed in him. Pulled the moon back into orbit, struck all of space-time at once, observed the multiverse labyrinth, withstood the infinity Big Bang storm. I assume they're going to explain that. Shattered to drill trillions of light years long. Defeated viral force superior generals Lord Genome and the
is
anti-spiral.
the
Okay.
drill that would pierce the heavens.
Yeah.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simone chose to
Oh,
wander
yeah,
the
she
earth
faded.
for the rest of his days in service to others.
Always looking up. For all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
I'm assuming that's like the last shot in the
universe
series.
is a dangerous place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat, you
That
know
cat
who
has
to call.
reason to be
Green
pissed off.
Lantern
I'm just
Corps.
saying.
They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern
Nice
among them
edit
was
there.
everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him, you love him, you might hate him, but you gotta respect the man. with
I
a will
remember
as
the
unbreakable
analysis
as
on that.
Hal's.
Until the
Liam brought in
day
just
his
this
will
huge notebook, just
After his
plopped it on the
hometown
table.
got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the core, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power
Why?
battery.
Did
The
they destroy
literal
his town?
Green Lantern.
becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was only one survivor.
Emerald
of
Tyrant was
Parallax's
already a cool
killing
enough
spree,
name.
Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So was Kyle
See,
picked
look,
for
he's
his
coming out of a
indomitable
bathroom stall.
willpower
Didn't
like
get to
Hal
wash his
was?
hands.
Yeah, he was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must
Just
feel
likes
good
DC
being given
editorial.
The most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient box can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire
Nice.
energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Oh my lord. Okay, alright, okay. Let's just take a second to soak this all in. Protective aura, flight, galactic database, artificial intelligence, I'm assuming that's on the ring itself, invisibility, intangibility, time manipulation, time travel, age manipulation, matter manipulation, gravity manipulation, mind reading, reality warping, constructs, shield blasts, energy blasts, shields, exoskeletons, melee weapons, projectile weapons, vehicles, animals, mythical creatures, and mecha resistances, poison, entropy, antimatter, and reality warping. Well, sucks to suck.
Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control
Okay, that's gonna come up. I don't know if that's going to make the laser thing better or worse for him, though. I mean, it on the one hand, it seems like it would slow it down. But on the other hand, it can still hit him at every possible point in creation. So,
time and space.
If he's extending that, that's going to do more damage.
Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like the time that Boozer...
Okay. The Green Lantern Chip stated his ring protected him from the effects of the crisis on Infinite Earth. Oh, that's nice. Dr. Ubex also survived the crisis by using the sucker stick, an analog for the Green Lantern ring. Okay, all I'm imagining is that it looks like one of those ring pops. You know,
Kilowog survived being erased from existence by the crisis on Infinite Earth.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched. Probably because he's a comic book artist.
Oh, no, they both are.
They think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable ability is their...
Hang on, and that's specific... That specifically has them turning someone who's three-dimensional in his own world into two-dimensional. So I wonder if that's going to apply.
Shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots.
Weird home computer.
Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift
super fighting robots.
I gotta see.
Hey, that one looks familiar.
It's got the sunglasses.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3? DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside.
Okay. After relinquishing the power of Ion, Kyle modified his Green Lantern ring to have an emergency reserve of backup power. It will never fully run out, even if it cannot maintain a 100% charge. All right, okay, that's good to know.
It's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized.
Oh, that's who died in that scene,
was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise
Except
you that
that's not what it says on the page anymore. It says top, when a loved one is hurt, killed, maimed, assaulted, or otherwise traumatized in order to motivate another character to move their plot forward. I think because people realized that otherwise there was a double standard, because Batman's parents, who exist only to die to fuel his story, etc.
Kyle finally got
stuff like
serious.
that. Uncle Ben
he became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy. It's a long story. He had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so he has all of these. Red Lantern, napalm plasma breath, rage infection, blood absorption. Oh god, that's disgusting. Okay, Blue Lantern, healing, possession, nullification, emotional purification. Does that mean he can nullify other people's emotions? I don't know. Sapphire Lantern, crystal matrices, mind control. Indigo Lantern, portals, compassion manipulation. Okay. Orange Lantern, energy siphoning, soul manipulation. Yellow Lantern, fear manipulation, fear empowerment. White Lantern, control over life, resurrection, clairvoyance, astral communication, life equation, mathematical source of life, extensive reality.
I'll manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. The more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm, which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others.
The final one was the Sapphire Light of Love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds. But Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern with total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical
come back to
embodiment
life?
of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other Lantern in existence.
Neat.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every...
Okay, even a single central power battery contains enough power to create and destroy an entire universe, meaning Hal manipulated a multiversal amount of energy. All right.
Every power battery across the multiverse.
But
not only can Kyle
is it
instantly
enough?
heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation.
Did he resurrect Alex, though? Kyle has held his own against Parallax as a Green Lantern, and Parallax has fought Time Trapper, Spectre, and Anti-Monitor while possessing Hal. Oh, goodness. This substantiates. I'm sorry, the text is really small if I want to have both the screen and my OBS. That's why I look over to the side, because my camera is here, but YouTube is here and OBS is here, and I really wish I could find a program that let me interact with the screen in the recording software again, like XSplit did, but without the, absolutely shitting on consumers. Okay, substantiates the White Lantern as being equal or superior to Anti-Monitor. All right.
Like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the life equation. Essentially the source code to reality, the life equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The life equation, like its counterpart, the anti-life equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties.
I wonder if that's a screen from
Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
In the video
Kyle
here.
spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the life equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns.
Split
And together, they
equation.
shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he
Nope.
told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings.
All right, okay, now let's...
Hey, remember Beerus versus Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being too anime. But we've got a solution. It's our own website. That's www.deathbattle.gg. It's like our own private Patreon, with a store for Death Battle merch and a complete Death Battle video archive. It's got episodes that YouTube has banned, blocked, and censored, and there's even more goodies on the way. So check out deathbattle.gg live right now.
Awesome.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Okay. Well, that whole extending plank length is going to come into play, but I'm not certain how. I don't know. Both of them can will themselves back from the brink of death. It seems like Kyle may be able to actually will himself back from death. And I don't know. Because the whole life equation and anti-life equation shit has never made any fucking sense to me. I mean, like, even when they made a big deal about the anti-life equation before, they never really explained it because it wasn't used in the fight. And here, if they use it, they're gonna have to tell us what the hell it actually does. Because it's an equation. It should just exist. You know, you don't really need to be in touch with an equation for it to still be true. I don't know. It's comic book bullshit, you know, again. But it's comic book bullshit going up against anime bullshit. So, this is gonna be real close. Yeah, Simone, why not? There we go. Okay.
All right, I'm not rusty at all.
Catch.
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Ring says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are? I'm told I'm bad with authority.
God.
Tell me about it. Four?
You gotta have the video game interface.
That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens!
It gives him sunglasses too, because why not?
Gurren Lagann! That's really cool.
I'm gonna have to tell that other version of me that I absorbed to use this in his comics.
The invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you
Raw, raw, fight the power!
Now you know! I'm Simone the Digger! If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down!
Alright then! Oh dear! Okay, so that would, I assume, be the life equation manifested?
Fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life.
Have faith in the Simone that believes in you.
His glasses keep evolving too.
My drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens. Giga drill free!
Oh dear. Okay, Kyle, can you do anything to match? Oh golly, he's got all the colors of the rainbow. Okay, they're shattering infinity. All right.
The super weapon wasn't your mech. It was me. Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day, in blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern fly!
Let's see you grit those teeth!
Oh golly. Oh, he's shattering the screen. Just punching a guy in the face.
You'd make a good lantern.
Yeah, he probably would.
Simone of Earth, you have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
For the guy with the snazzy sunglasses.
Ah,
Because
Ringmaster.
humans possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like
Popcorn
strength
hole.
and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle.
Okay.
Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's
Yeah,
attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that
Okay. Kyle struggled to erase aberration, who destabilized the natural laws of a universe after a long enough time. In comparison, the anti-spiral had complete control over the laws of countless universes and could erase fundamental concepts, yet could not erase Nia from existence. I see.
Kyle hasn't encountered, like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly
So,
drills. Though again,
it's more
nothing Simone
defensive
couldn't
than
adapt to,
offensive,
let's say his
then,
energy
is,
absorption.
Kyle's
Imagination
ability.
is a draw.
That leaves the other main
Cool.
factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here.
I love how
Since
the
it's
universe
source
just
of
opens up and
everything for both of
drops them
Whoever's
down.
got the stronger
It's like,
willpower
no.
wins.
Both can manipulate reality.
Okay. Simone's reality warping could evolve to counter hypothetical source wall imprisonment in a similar manner to the multiversal labyrinth. Several DC characters with similar abilities, like Spectre, Superman, of course Superman, and Barry Allen, have escaped the source wall in the past. Okay.
On a multiversal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below.
Was that Game & Watch?
Kyle's willpower was
Okay. Both series could potentially have larger scopes to their cosmologies, but most interpretations would favor the DC multiverse being larger given equal leeway. I gotcha.
stronger at a base level. However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known
Just
for,
shifts
it's
into that.
they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with spiral power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off
I like that
weaker
it breaks
doesn't
out
mean
of the
he'll stay
screen
that
and
way.
fills the rest of the
Absorbing
chamber.
multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since spiral power also lets him regenerate his body down to
Frick. The thing I was keeping on my webcam to prevent glare, it bent. So just having it like this wasn't going to do anything. So I had to flip it upside down and... Nia, Anti-Spiral's virtual life form, was destined to disappear with Anti-Spiral, and he was destroyed. However, she had managed to keep herself... Okay, it's just the same thing we already knew.
an informational level.
Anti-Spiral's
Kyle's never
virtual
destroyed
life
something
form.
that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily
Okay, the Anti-Spiral has regeneration comparable to Spiral Power users, but Simone overcame them. He can do the same against Kyle's healing and resurrection abilities, including those that work on a non-corporeal level.
It was only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge. Especially
But it
since
wouldn't
Simone
run
could
out.
likely
They said that in
regenerate for
the-
at least a
in the
week
sidebar.
straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate
Okay. Kyle could theoretically maintain a charge by fueling his ring with the energy of hope and life. However, even as a White Lantern, his ring has been overtaxed and nullified, such as against Dr. Manhattan. Okay, I feel like that's burying the lead.
Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to
Okay, more. Okay. Kyle kept the life equation in the what-if scenario, New Guardians, Future's End. He is corrupted and ultimately destroyed himself. The canon Kyle saw this potential future, hence why he relinquished the equation. The book also established those with a high willpower are resistant to the life equation's effects, such as Soren. I don't know who that is. Okay, again, burying the lead.
to keep from destroying reality and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using spiral power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end of his story. No matter how you look at it, Simone might start weaker, but his peak will always transcend Kyle's. Isn't that how all of Simone's battles usually go anyway? That's Gurren Lagann in a nutshell.
So Simone's incredible potential eclipsed Kyle, which means his willpower was ultimately greater. Kyle may have embodied life itself, but Simone's...
Okay. Weaker initially versus far weaker eventually. Yeah, stronger at base, more creative versus greater rate of adaptation. Superior regeneration resists the emotional spectrum. Gotcha.
Unstoppable evolutionary potential would shatter even this lantern's light.
I hope Kyle at least dug the fight, because when it comes to death battle losers, he was a dead ringer.
The winner is Simone the Digger.
Next time on Death Battle.
Jazz music? Oh, okay, we're getting it now.
Subscribe and join as a member to see
All right,
more
all
Death Battle.
right.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, well, first off, a criticism. It did not give the feeling of intense size, the sheer immense scale that they would be functioning off of. And as I said, they kind of buried two of their huge important points. Overall, animation was good, acting was good. There was that scream during Kyle's analysis that I was not paying attention to see if that showed up during the actual fight. I'm looking forward to next time. That's, you know, the poll winner and everything. Yeah, the champions ballot, all of that. The jazz music made me think for a second it might be Bendy versus Cuphead, because I know that's been another highly wanted one. And I know there was that, is either a DBX, I think it was a DBX, because I don't think it was on a 1 Minute Melee, but yeah, it was really neat. And bear in mind, I'm not all that familiar with either one. I thought Build Our Machine was a canon song, but it's a fan-made one. Believe it or not, I first heard it in a Pokemon Ranger animatic. I don't know what it has to do with the plot of that game. There are machines, but the Mini Ramos and Giga Ramos aren't, sapient. Anyway. Okay. So, I'm gonna link to Metaball Studios' video about, giant mechs, because there's this part where it pans out past the world, past the solar system, past the Milky Way, and then you kind of know what's coming at that point. So yeah, I will go get that video right. Oh wow. Crunchyroll suggests Gurren Lagann, season 1, episode 1, Bust Through the Heavens with Your Drill. It's right up there in the. I'll switch back. No, not that one. This one right here. I wonder if I can watch that for free then. Okay. Although, I do have a lot of stuff to do today, including, hopefully, some other reactions for a certain person's birthday. Netbug doesn't watch my reactions, not these, so I it's for Netbug's birthday. I'm gonna be watching something for her birthday, and I'm gonna post it on her birthday. So you're not gonna see it for a few days, like a week. Let me look in the corner here. When is? Okay, yeah, you're not gonna see it for a little over a week, but yeah, I'm hoping to be able to watch it today. Okay, I will see you all later. Until next time. I'm Blackjack Gabbiani, and, well, okay, alright, who the hell do you think I am? I'm Blackjack Gabbiani, I already answered that.